Hey, what's up? Life Without Pants with another Path of Exile video. In today's video, we're going to run our comparison. We're going to look at the comparison we did between the last video, so link to that down in the description below, and this one. So the last one we were running City Square, which is a very popular map with people running Harbinger Scarabs and Harbinger Sextants and Harbinger. So it's a little bit expensive, and I figured we would try it out on and the pack size is a little dense, so it can be a little bit difficult to sustain. So I figured we would take a look at what it's like against exactly the same setup, but with a different map. And so if we look at our Atlas passive tree here, this is exactly the same. We've got the Nico tech down here. We've got Mad Devotion. We blocked off everything apart from Harvest and Ritual. We've got the Essence nodes. We've got the Map nodes. We've got the Harvest nodes. We've got the Singular Focus. We've got the more Map nodes. We've got the Nico tech again. Harvest, Essence, Red Bernie Boy, Eater of Worlds. We've got the Top Hat, and we've got Growing Hordes. So we're going to go straight in again with just any junk essences you have lying around on the floor. I found these on the floor. We're doing the Searing Exarch, so we're just going to put that on. And this, if you have Nico node missions, then this is really, really great. I didn't have that many left after the last video. So, which is why one of the reasons why I didn't include the loot in that the last time. But you just run in, kill as much as you can, and you're gonna, if there's a harvest around, whenever there's an Eldritch Altar, then I always go for minions, just because it suits my build to go for just minions, and if when you get these sulfite nodes, then click those, because then you get Azurite, and you can buy the resonators later on from Nico in the mine encampment. And you just run in, kill as much as you can. If there's harvest, then I always do harvest. I don't like try and wait until the end of the map. I don't like kill the map boss or anything and then try and get as much increased quantity in the map. It's a pretty I mean, I want to say Alcan Go, except that we're using Scarabs, even though we're not using the Scarabs for much. But I really wanted to test out what it was going to be like with, all this. There's a lot of juice in this map. I think we've also got Beyond in here as well. And as for actual sextants to run on the map itself, we just use the same as the last video. We were just running any kind of junk stuff we could get, and I went and bought, what was it, these 16 use sextants. So if you don't know, those drop from the elevated sextants drop from Maven, and they give 16 uses, and when people are trying to roll 16 Sacred Groves or something on a Watchstone, then they will eventually get some, there's 8 packs that heal in this map, and there's 8 packs that, do a little bit of more fire damage, and there's 8 packs that do fizz damage and that kind of stuff. And they're just trash. They're really, really bad, and nobody really wants them, and people selling them. I got most of mine for, I think it was like 8 chaos each. Some of them I paid up to 10 chaos. So in the costs breakdown, we've put 8. We put 10 rather, because I'd much rather be more sort of heavy-handed with the costs than the opposite way around. For essences in the maps, if you can, I think I loaned myself for this test a few of these Remnants of Corruption. 20. I think we got around 16 back in total, but we did get some horror and hysteria essences, that kind of, the high tier essences. I have not included those in this, even though it's pretty reasonable to think that you would actually get 1 or 2 from this strat, or just from running. Again, it's 48 maps, so it's pretty reasonable to assume that you would run into either a Misery, Envy, Dread, or Scorn essence once or twice in 48 maps, and you'd probably be able to corrupt it and get the higher tier essences out. Obviously, we're running Harvest on this as well, so in fact, I'm just going to go and kill the boss, and then I'm going to go and sit in the Harvest. So once you have finished all these runs, you get a lot of harvest juice. You get a lot of harvest juice out of this. Then I personally will always take, if I get like essences of hysteria, then I will change those into essences of horror in the hoarder crafting station, because that's one of the things that's pretty easy. Oh, we got the Atlas invitation. I can just leave this one on the floor here for somebody else to find. So it's pretty reasonable. I think the setup we've got, again, I don't want to include too much stuff that is unreasonable, and I'm always more than happy to overstate the costs rather than and understate the profits rather than the opposite way around. So let's take a look at our costs. So we've got generic monster pack size sextants. There's 10 of those, and they cost 12 chaos each. I mean, sorry, there's 12 of them, and they cost 10 chaos each. So there's 120 C. We've got just generic scarabs. Anything will do. Any rusted scarab is what we're going for. So we're going for 4 times a rusted scarab. So that gives us 20% extra pack size, which really juices up the harvest. And this costs us 192 C. I think I actually paid 0.7 in total for all of mine, but I would rather be, more safe than sorry. The Uggs map, I had a few of them lying around, but I bought some as well to top up the number. You're looking at 192 C invested there as well. They're about 4 chaos each in bulk. Chisels, 63 Cs. Chisels are crazy expensive this league, and alks are, as always, not. So this cost 572 C in total for the 48 maps. We're looking at 12 chaos per map. I'm just gonna do one of these harvests to show you. Now this is a really good example. So you're just going for this number here. It doesn't matter if it's blue or yellow. If there's one that's higher in number, then you take that one. Yellow life force is the most expensive right now. So if there's 2 and it's blue and there's 2 and it's yellow, then obviously take yellow. But if there's one that is none of them cost twice as much yet, so it's pretty good just to take whichever's got the most. Was going to give you the most back. This, I would take this one over here because this is 1 and 7. This is 1 and 6, and the 6 and the 7. This one, we get both of them. Fantastic. But this, the second tiered one is most likely to give us actually any kind of life force. So we'll just kill these, and I can talk a little bit about you get a lot of life force out of this. I was honestly shocked at how much life force we did get eventually. I think the life force probably accounts for around a third or a half of the profit. We'll have a look in just a second. Let's just get back to our hideout, and let's have a look at the profits that we made. So in total, where's our excellence next? We got 2977 C in 48 maps, and that turns out to be around 62 chaos per map returned. And you can see here, like if we just do divines, it's 12 divines, so it's a really, really good return. Some of these, it obviously depends how much you can do per hour, what your divines per hour will be, but I think this really demonstrates how much pack size is important for things like harvest. Again, we got the vivid crystallized life force. We got 22k. So that's, I think it's over here. I think this is this is about 3 divines worth of life force, just the yellow one, and that more than pays for all of the maps, all of the sextants, the everything. It pays for the scarabs, the sextants, the maps, the chisels, the alks. Everything is 3 divines easily, and then everything else in here is just profit. We got a few notable drops, some nice items dropped for us. These are not included. You get so many mortal fragments from Ritual, it just craps them out. There's so many of them. We got this as well. This is again not included. It's a flicker strike damage per frenzy charge. That seems to be quite expensive. But the mainstay of our money came from just chaos orbs, city square maps. So for our Atlas, we have all city square favorited and one additional connected map, which is Grotto. So let's just find Grotto, and I think is it this one? It is not. Oh, it's this one here. So it's just a connected map because we've got such a high chance of dropping connected maps when we're running these. And if we look in our excellence next, then we got 25 Grotto maps. We also got 40 city squares. And in the previous test, city square and the connected map they were kind of equivalent. It was around the same amount. And here we see a bit of a change there. Obviously, invitation, you're running 48 maps. You're going to get an invitation no matter how you slice it. Chisels, 67C in chisels, quite a lot. Also, I'm making Awakened Sextants. You get lots of those as well. These drop like candy from all the influence monsters. Wild and Primal Crystallized Life Force obviously get quite a bit of those as well. You get a lot of embers, but there's a lot of bubblegum currencies making all this up. Now, let's talk about the things that we didn't include. I'm just can I just chuck all this in here? Oh, I need to turn on stash tab affinities and then just put all this in. Now, there were quite a few things I didn't include in the total here, and I have them in this tab here. So we got another 46 primitive chaotic resonators, and these have gone up in price again. So now it's 1 for 100. So this is half a divine, just in chaotic resonators, and that's because when you which node is it? This one here. Just zoom in a little bit. This one here, mining byproducts. Because we're using Nuco missions all the time, every time you go against a sulfite chest, you have a 10% chance to get an equal amount of azurite. And over 48 maps and all those Nuco missions, that really, really adds up. So you eventually get a lot of azurite. And then you just go to the mining encampment and buy as many resonators as you can. I buy the single ones because they're the best for bang for the buck. They're 300 azurite each. The triple ones are like 3,750 and they sell for very little extra. We dropped a bunch of jewels. We got lots and lots of div cards. I didn't include these, even though these are the ones that you would like. The Orbs of Alchemy ones are the ones you absolutely expect to drop from Underground Sea. I think we got the Tireless Extractor. We got one for a Delirium Orb, and then the notable ones, we dropped Divine Beauty. Now this actually drops from the boss in Underground Sea, so I don't know what kind of quant or rarity you need for this, but it is actually, if you're doing a big enough sample size, this will drop every so often from the Underground Sea boss. We got 3 Primordial Jewel div cards in a Ritual, so there's a lot of Ritual stuff that I haven't included in this, even though Ritual turns up every few maps. We got a Divine Orb. I think that was in Ritual as well. We got 6 Orbs of Annulment. And the reason we have that is we got lucky with one of the shrines. So one of the influence shrines had a 1.5% chance for influence monsters to drop an Orb of Annulment, and they certainly did. We got 6 of them in total. And we also got 6 conch maps as well. I mean, 3 Conqueror maps and 3 Elder Guardian maps. And I think basically all of these, oh no, actually maybe it was these 4 all dropped at once from the boss. So yeah, I didn't want to include all this stuff. These Essences of Horror, like I was saying, with Essence of Delirium, where's my regular life force? Here we go. So the Essences of Delirium, you can turn these into Essences of Horror. So let's just show you which ones I'm talking about real quick. So these 4 here, you can swap between these 4 with life force. So if you go over to your bench, you put in your Essence of Delirium. Now Delirium is 27C, but obviously Essence of Horror is 35, so it'd be way better if we could get that instead. So you just change the stack of Essences into a different type of the same tier, and there's Insanity, Delirium, and Horror, and now it's worth way more. And obviously you can do that because you've got so much life force that you drop from this strat as well. So now you got, I think this is 6 for a divine or something like that. Oh, 1 for 7. So overall, pretty similar, except we're getting 10C per map extra out. And I think this is probably due to the pack size in the maps that we're running. Underground Sea is known to be a very, very pack dense map, and City Square is known to be not that. So I think obviously a lot of our money is coming from Harvest with the juice, but I think, you know, the more maps, the more mods there are, and the more mobs there are in the map, obviously the more loot they're going to drop. So I think that's probably why we're seeing this. I think it's super interesting, and I'm going to continue to run Underground Sea for a little bit more, just to see if I can drop a couple more of those divine cards. Probably won't though. But yeah, that's it from me. I think this has been really interesting. Science. It's good to know that, you know, pack size really matters and the mob density really matters in maps, and that hasn't really changed too much. So if you have any feedback, let me know down in the comments. I'll post the the previous video and the Atlas tree that I'm running as well, so you can see all that stuff, anything else relevant. And that's it from me. I hope you're kind to everyone you meet. I love it all very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.